Now that we have power back, welcome back to some more Stormworks. I'm StormRunner Gaming, and today we're going to be jumping into a side of the game that is a little bit less touched on, a little bit neglected in a sense, because the game is a lot about the boats and everything, but I have 4 cars behind me, and not just any cars. I have 4 off-roading cars. We're actually going to see what kind of performance we can get out of these 4 cars here, but I do want to put a quick note in here. They are for advanced cars, so I saw a couple cool other off-roading cars, but the other ones were not the advanced kind. They didn't have the pipes running to all the engines and stuff, so I'm just using a couple advanced cars today. So maybe later on I will jump into the other mode and look at the other ones, but for today it's just a couple advanced ones. And I haven't really tested any of these out, but the large playground in front of me is where I'm going to try and test them out here today. And since I am in this first one and he likes to roll a little bit, I am going to be using him first today. This is a big orange truck, and of course if you guys do want to pick up any of these 4 vehicles, I would leave all 4 links down below in that description, in the links part of the description. But anyway, let's get started here. And I believe this truck is a little bit weird, as I've figured out. The throttle is controlled by your up and down, and that is static or sticky, but the W and S is your clutch, and that is it's free to move, basically, which is a really weird way to set up a vehicle. I mean, I don't know if it works well or not, but so far it seems to be working. And I'm going to try to bring him up this tough hill here, and we're already having a little bit of problems. Come on. Engine is barely running there, but okay, we're moving again. We're moving. And it does get a little bit steeper before we get on some greener pastures there. We're going to make it. We're crawling. Oh, we're right there. Come on. I've given it all. Oh, we stalled the engine, I think. Let's put the brakes on. So it doesn't look like it's that great for going up the hills. Let's turn off that all-wheel drive. We're actually going to have to slide down this hill to restart it, because I do not think we can restart it with those brakes enabled. So let's give it a little bit more gas and get those engines roaring again. I think it only has maybe one small or medium engine. I haven't actually pulled apart any of these cars yet to see what they're made of, what types of engines they have or anything. But I'm assuming a lot of them either have a small block or the aircraft engine, a medium one. Looks like I've flipped it almost. Wow, that's surprising considering the size of this vehicle and everything. You don't think you'd be able to flip it. I wonder if I can get it. Nah, we're not going to try to rescue it with another vehicle, but I am going to respawn all 4 of them and we'll jump into another truck here. I'm going to let Big Orange roll down there, and somebody's showing off with his hydraulics over there, it seems like. But next we're going to jump into the Range Rover, which I really don't know how well this is going to perform at all. Alright, we got the engine running. Let's put it in first gear. Or did I think I just stalled the engine. Okay, let's put it in neutral and try and start it up again. Okay, the engine's running. Do I have a parking brake was on. That's why when I put it into first gear, it was not running very well. We are moving very fast. That is not good for off-road, though. Yep. Oh, but we're getting out of there. This thing does not have much clearance or suspension. But I thought it had 4-wheel drive. Maybe toggle hitch, parking brake, lights outside, unlock car. Yeah, it looks like this vehicle is only... No, those wheels seem to be moving on the front end. They were just stuck up. This first gear, though, there's a lot of power to it. I wonder if they put more power to the rear. Oh, now we're flipping it. There's a lot of weight on the back of this, on the bottom of this car, but it's almost uncontrollable, and I don't think I'm doing anything wrong here. We've got lights on first gear. And the engine is just spinning those wheels like it's a rocket going out of space. And we do have four-wheel drive. Look at that. All four wheels are spinning. I guess the front ones were just stuck up in some rocks or something. It looks like they were trying to design some sort of suspension system that would come out with those pivots, but I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't cut out for larger, more tough off-roading. I don't know, but we are going to reset it and grab another car here. Alright, as I'm running back, the third vehicle we've got here is a little bit smaller than the rest of them. Big Orange over there is going to roll away, but we've got the smallest vehicle. And I mean, being a little plucky vehicle might actually be better here. I mean, you don't have as much weight throwing side to side, and of course you have less weight you need to get up the hill. You need engine power? I don't even know if the engine's running yet. It's moving, and no, we got some spoke. Ah, there we go. Now it's running. I don't hear much of an engine though, unless we were running an electric engine. Should be a weird and interesting concept. Off-road Tesla. It is bouncy though, and this thing seems to have a pivoting front axle, and we've already gotten it caught up. Yeah, the smaller wheels don't seem to being English. They don't seem to help me very much here, and I think I've stalled the engine here as well. Oh, and we don't have it in four-wheel drive. Would I kill it? Turn the lights off. Yeah, let me retry that real quick and see if we can get something better out of it. So it definitely isn't an electric vehicle, as I am going back to where I spawn in all four of the vehicles. It seems to have probably a small engine, I assume. It'd be crazy to fit like a aircraft engine or something in here. But we have lock front axle controls. That is pretty cool. So let's give ourselves some ignition power. Get the pump rolling. Okay, I think the engine is running now. It's not too fast, but you don't have to be fast to go off-road. And it looks like the entire thing is almost on fire with smoke coming like under it almost. But we do have it running here, and I don't have many engine stats. Meters per second, I assume, is that what we're running off of there? And let's throw it into four-wheel drive here. We still have power. That's good news. Good news. Oof. That was a big hit. And we flipped it. Come on. Hey, it got back up on its wheels. That's pretty... I think we've wedged it here. And the engine stalled again. So, I mean, then again, being a smaller vehicle has its many disadvantages as well. Because if you have a larger rock, you can barely get over it. Especially, well, they've set up some pretty good suspension. Of course, the Range Rover had no suspension to be found. The large truck had some longer, unstable suspension. This one seemed to have a decent design, but I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't have the engine power to back it up or something. That and its little plucky size probably doesn't help it much. Maybe giving it larger axles and the bigger wheels would help. But I don't know. Maybe I just aren't the best off-roading driver in Stormworks. That's totally possible. Alright, the fourth and final vehicle we have here is the hydraulics guy. And this is the one that sparked my interest in finding a couple different off-roading vehicles here in Stormworks, because it has some crazy cool features. Like if we ever did get a map that had like a large stream or something we had to ford across, we could get our exhaust and our air pumped in and out of two large tanks on the roof here. We have plenty of instruments, even a water hose on the roof, it seems. And we got connectors, winches, headlights. We have the huge roof lights, 3 of them to be exact. There's 3 spotlights that'll be finding our way. We apparently have a parachute as well. I'm not exactly sure where that... I've never used that before. before, so I'm not exactly sure where it comes out of, but I'm interested to see. Maybe I will press the button one of these days and see what happens with it, but we do have to take that parking brake off. I'm gonna turn the... I'll keep the headlights on, and let's start the engine up here. This one also uses the clutch control to power the engine, but it seems like it is more, how do I put it? It's sticky rather than resets. And as you guys can see as well, as the vehicle is moving, there's a little... Oh! Holy cow, we got the engine on fire already. I don't think it was because I slammed it down. I guess we just don't have efficient enough cooling to run it. But we also do have a sliding weight on the bottom there that seems to be keeping us up pretty well. And as the engine probably is going to die out here in a moment or two, I mean, it's a pretty amazing vehicle they've designed. I know I'm kind of just throwing it around here. I'm not that great at driving. I never claimed I was great at driving these vehicles, but I don't know. It leaves a bit to be improved on off-roading vehicles. Not to say these aren't amazing vehicles, but I may in the future try my hand at building one myself and seeing if they're even a worse disaster than the flaming wreck here, or I don't know, maybe they will triumph. But yeah, I really do want to try this vehicle once more. Here, let me reload it. I wonder why the engine just went up like that last time. Something I can be doing to control the temperature. Fuel, meters per second. If we pin down the engine, can I put a gear on to slow down the temperature of the engine? Maybe I did grab an earlier Well, of course, as all SUVs go, they are a bit top heavy, and we seem to have flipped it, and there goes the engine. So it almost seems like it's inevitable that you lose that engine unless you're giving it full throttle. But then again, off-road, when are you going to be giving it full throttle constantly? You need a lot of control. So, I don't know, maybe with a better radiator, this thing could be a lot better. Maybe adding a little bit more weight on the bottom, but I don't know. I would have to test out and see how that would go. Yeah, guys, as the orange truck back there rolls away for the final time today, this is where I will be ending my episode here. If you guys do have any other advanced off-road vehicles that I didn't cover here, put a link down in the comments down below. I'd love to see what you guys have created, or what vehicles you've found that other people have created. So yeah, I am looking forward to that. But anyways, of course, if you guys did like this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Stormworks and more of my content. But I've never been great. Goodbyes when people need me, and I need to go.